Back in the 1980s, Eddie Murphy had a lot of roles, like when he played Axel Foley in this movie, Judge Reinhold, Lisa Elbacher, John Ashton, and so many others in this movie about cops in Beverly Hills. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Beverly Hills Cop from 1984, where everybody got on the floor and did the goddamn dinosaur. I don't think that's how it works, but nevertheless. Yes, in preparation for the fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie coming out in just a little bit, about a month as of this recording, decided to dive into this. I'm going to dive into the second one, the third one, and even though Metro is not part of the Beverly Hills Cop canon, I feel the need to include that because, to be perfectly honest, that movie kind of was just a pseudo Beverly Hills Cop spin-off. At least I thought so, what I remember of it. So anyway, this was directed by Martin Brest. Without the A. He took the A out of the breast. It was not even an A cup. He did Midnight Run, Scent of a Woman. Meet Joe Black and Geely. You can kind of see why he hasn't directed anything since. So yeah, written by two people. Daniel Petrie Jr., who did The Big Easy, Turner and Hooch, and In the Army Now. Quite the mix right there. Turner and Hooch. Yeah, I was really sad at the end of that movie. No, I will not retro-view that. So, you also have another writer. He did April Fool's Day as well, the next Beverly Hills Cop installments. And you have Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley. And you have Axel F., which Axel F. is actually a song that haunts me because I had to play it in band back in middle school. And for some reason, even though it was really, really simple, you ever just get in your own head and you can't do something right? Yeah, that song for whatever just haunted me. Now, I got it. It's a great goddamn song, and I really, really do enjoy how it worms its way into your skull, but now I'm not going to unhear it for at least a goddamn week. Now, full disclosure, I've never been the biggest Eddie Murphy fan. I recognize he has talent. He did really good stand-up, and he has had quite the career resurgence. He made bad career choices, as does everybody. But you have this, you have Coming to America. Beverly Hills Cop 2 wasn't even all that bad, even though it was more of the same. And Vampire in Brooklyn actually was one that wasn't too bad. He has had a lot of, pretty good movies. He also did The Adventures of Pluto Nash. And he also did a lot of other stuff. The Nutty Professor. Norbit. I don't actually think that's how it was said. Point is, I appreciate Eddie Murphy's talents. I'm just not the biggest fan of him. And decided after so many years I'd rewatch this. So yes, Judge Reinhold, which is just such a great name. Just such a great name. He plays Detective Billy, Don't Be a Hero, Rosewood. Can't help but hear that. And then you have Sergeant Taggart. I don't know why the name Taggart just amuses me, but it does. John Ashton, who is a terrific actor. And you have I don't really want to say the love interest in this. Lisa Eilbacher, or however you say it. She actually still looks pretty good in her 60s, so good on her. Ronnie Cox was kind of a bumbling lieutenant. Like, he kept saying, I'm going to get rid of Axel. It's like, you can't be here and do this stuff. And it takes him forever to say, you should get out of here. If you haven't seen, by the way, Beverly Hills Cop, I'm just going to spoil everything. Well, maybe not everything, but I'm going to spoil enough of it. Steven Berkoff was great as the European villain, I guess we should say. German, Russian, Yugoslavian, whatever. I mean, it doesn't really goddamn matter. It could have been Austrian. Maybe that's where his grandparents were during the war. James Russo plays Mikey, who doesn't last very long. And Gilbert R. Hill was the Detroit police chief, or at least Axel Foley's boss. So, yes, the Detroit cop is out to get revenge on the people that killed his friend. And he goes to Beverly Hills. The city that Weezer did a song about. So, a fun little fact about this. The figures of it. $13 million budget. Pretty big for 1984, in all honesty. $39.2 million in today's money. $15.2 million opening. So, already, even with advertising, it was going to be a smashing success. $45.8 million in today's money, $234.7 million U.S. gross. Okay, pretty good. That'd be $708.2 million in today's money. $316.3 million worldwide gross. almost $1,954.5 million in today's money. I did kind of like how The Heat Is On by Glenn Frey was playing. That was fun. Patti LaBelle and the Pointer Sisters playing quite a bit here. That was nice. I did forget how catchy the soundtrack is, including Axel F. The 80s synth. It just was really hilarious. And you have Eddie Murphy making a deal to, like, stop these guys from shipping, like, illegal cigarettes. A lot of Lucky Strike advertisement in this. A lot of Lucky Strike boxes. Mainly boxes. Because if those things even were full of cartons of cigarettes, it really would have hurt. I mean, you have boxes of cartons of something, even as light as cigarettes, it's going to hurt. I did like how it was in a separated trailer, and they're just going through the streets of Detroit and causing wrecks and everything and improving the property value. And yeah, that's mean. I'm sorry. But Detroit at this point, unfortunately, was starting to have its issues. And funny stuff would happen because Eddie Murphy's in the back of the truck. He's not able to bust the guys, but he's able to get the cigarettes. And yeah, he ends up running into his friend Mikey, who broke into his apartment. Probably not a good idea to do that. He got out of jail. And it turns out he's also a bit of a thief and a cheat and a liar. He has some weird bonds. And what the hell's going on here? Oh my God. And then the Eddie Murphy, can't really do the Eddie Murphy laugh. Probably shouldn't have tried that. Probably should have left that one in the drafts, as the kids say. But Mikey got into some shit. And then he ends up getting killed. And it's just so funny. They're out drinking. Mikey ends up being besieged by two guys that have ties to this guy, Victor, Steven Berkoff's character. They knock out Axel easily. I mean, I know he's a new cop, but Jesus Christ, it's like you could have hit him with a feather, like in Stir of Echoes. That's something I should retro review. Let me know. But they knock him out. They end up berating Mikey, shooting him. And here's my question. Like, even though he says it's under the guise of a vacation, he drove all the way to Beverly Hills in that car. In that car. That car doesn't even look like it would get to East Lansing, Michigan. That is right. That doesn't look like it would have been able to, navigate the Sheik's territory. So, Axel investigates this whole thing, and I did note this isn't great. Like, that's the thing. This doesn't compare to Lethal Weapon, in my personal opinion. Rush Hour took a lot of stuff from this, but made it funnier. There are some funny moments, and maybe it's just down to age and how some things have changed a little bit. I did note that Jenny's kind of just a random the generic damsel in distress, with a couple moments where she does drive Axel around. We get the guy Victor. Hey, Victor, heard about your dad. Ha, good old smoke signals. Don't know why that line of all things stuck in my head. He tries to get some answers from Victor, and then Victor calls upon his guys to take him down and throw him through a goddamn window. Because Axel doesn't identify himself as a cop, the cops arrest him. That's where he meets Judge Reinhold's Billy Don't Be a Hero Rosewood, as well as Sergeant Taggart, and runs into the lieutenant and just various old cops that look like when they were in school, Miranda rights was just a goddamn pipe dream. But these cops are just not smart, I guess really would be the best way to go about it. I did laugh at how there were some moments like when they went into the strip club and they had that scene and there were these two criminals that came in and Axel diffused the situation by knocking one down and arresting one by getting a shotgun out of his hand. That was actually kind of a decent scene. That was kind of all right. For whatever reason, there was like this story or this, brief running gag, I guess. I mean, I guess really you can't call it a brief running gag. But he does it a couple times where Eddie Murphy is staying in a suite pretending to be a reporter on vacation. And so he just orders room service and the bill gets piled up further and further and further like he's Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. And then he actually orders room service for the cops to distract them. And then we do the strip club scene that I talked about. But even though the lieutenant understands what they did, they're off the case. Now it's Foster and McCabe. Charles Foster McCabe. Where he goes, nobody knows. One funny line from Judge Reinhold, though. There's 500, or there could be 5 pounds of undigested beef in your bowels by the time you are the age of 50. And Taggart's like, why the hell would I want to know that? Well, you eat a lot of red meat. And Foley basically pretends to be a guy that hooked up with Victor as a way to get in on his whole, get in and talk to him or whatever, where there's this big old spread and he kind of grills him on questions and then gets thrown around and arrested. Of course, the German man talks down to the black man, because why wouldn't he? I do want to note also Damon Wayans as a brief cameo as Banana Man in this, which is still better than Blank Man. Jesus Christ. It's back when the Wayans actually were just allowed to be part of an ensemble cast instead of being trusted to carry a movie. But it was kind of cool to see Damon Wayans at this point. I knew I recognized him, but I know it's Damon, I know it's Marlon. I know there's another one, maybe a few more. Keenan Ivory Wayans, is that the other one? I haven't watched anything with the Wayans in a while because I didn't like movies like White Chicks and stuff like that, even though Terry Crews was hilarious. But the lieutenant's like, well, you did good stuff, but we need to get rid of this. We don't have enough evidence, so I could send you back to Detroit. In fact, I'm gonna send you back to Detroit. He could have done that at any point. But Victor then basically kind of grills Jenny, ends up taking her as a hostage. Billy's supposed to take Foley back to the airport, or back to the airport, out of city limits, obviously. And, Foley basically says, look, we need to do this. Billy's like, oh, God damn it. I mean, he's kind of a bumbling idiot, the way they have Judge Reinhold play him here. And, I mean, he means well, but he's kind of a bumbling idiot. And, I don't know why so much of this made me laugh, because there was a lot of, just the fact, like, there are these boxes that Axel and Jenny find out before Jenny gets taken as a hostage. They find the drugs or whatever, and it's like, and I just think, crackers whack, Bobby! Oh, that's mean. Poor Whitney. Her rendition of Singing in the Bathtub was taken way too literal. I'm sorry. I just couldn't help it. See, 12-step by 12-step would have been better. I'm done. I'm done dumping on Whitney Houston. May she rest in peace. So, the German was disappointed that Jenny did not want to be part of his master and not finishing that. And you got to save Jenny, so Billy, who wants to be a hero, and Foley doesn't want to bust an Axel, and they go and they get Taggart on their side, because Taggart's trying to bring him in. He's like, well, shit, let me get a shotgun. There's some shootouts, and it kind of a hilarious moment, at least to me, where, Steven Berkoff just gets shot up like crazy. And that's it. Basically, everybody gets arrested. Everything's fine. Jenny's okay. They have enough to arrest everybody that's still alive. And he's off the hook. And then he is going to go to another dance club and drink. And it seems like Taggart and Billy are going to join him. And then we just pause and we cut to credits. So, yeah, it's silly. It's ridiculous. It is what it is. I mean, there are some funny moments. It's not great, but it gets more in a passing grade. I mean, believe me, compared to the second and the third one, which came out in 94, 10 years after this. And I know that Eddie Murphy was a busy man, but come on. I know he did 48 hours and another 48 hours, and he was doing a lot of stuff. But Jesus Christ, if you got to go 10 years before you make your third movie, that's not good. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What is your favorite Eddie Murphy role? What are your favorite Eddie Murphy roles if you can't decide on just one? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.